welcome to another invigorating episode where we peel back the layers of what it truly means to rise, evolve, and nurture the mind and body. Today, we're joined by Thomas Malpass, someone whose perspectives on mindset, growth, health, and wellness invites us to rethink the habits and beliefs shaping our everyday lives. This conversation is about exploring not just how we live, but how we choose to live, intentionally, courageously, and with a commitment to our own thriving. Thomas, it's so nice to have you on the show.
Happy to be here.
Yes, great. So, Thomas, when you think about mindset as the anchor of personal growth, what belief or mental pattern do you feel most people underestimate?
I think most people underestimate their own capabilities. I think a lot of people don't give themselves the opportunity to put themselves in situations that make them grow. So I think mindset is everything. And one book I highly recommend people check out is Dweck Mindsets, The New Psychology of Success. So if you're interested in success and how people really differ in a way, because there's two types of people. There's people with fixed mindsets and there's people with growth mindsets. So when you are able to distinguish what kind of mindset you have, I think it's a good starting point to growth.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what you said makes me wonder, how did you personally learn to challenge or unlearn that pattern in your own journey?
I think I've always had this feeling from a young age that I just felt capable. And once you recognize that you're capable and that you have the power to change the trajectory of your own life, you will follow whatever that path looks like for you. I think the problem is a lot of people don't think that they're capable, or they feel they get into this comparison trap where, like they see successful people and they're like, why bother? I'd say, why not bother? You never know what could happen if you never try.
Yes.
So at least give yourself the chance to try.
Yes. I feel like what you're trying to say for our listeners is that change is not about perfection, but it's more about willingness, right?
100%. I don't believe in perfection.
Yes. And speaking of growth, it brings up something important, where growth actually comes from in the first place. In terms of growth, do you believe people evolve more through intentional practice or through navigating adversity?
That's a good question. I would say both. Because navigating adversity is part of life. There's a saying that if you live life, you'll inevitably encounter some form of suffering, whether that be from yourself or you see it in the world. So when you encounter that, you have a choice to make, and that could be intentional, or you could find yourself with your back against the wall and you have to do something about it. You could either sit in that suffering and feel stuck,
Yes.
or you can choose to do something about it.
Yes, I feel like there's a big contrast between planned growth and unexpected lessons, but they both equally help in evolving and transforming a person, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
yes, it reminds us that both paths shape who we become. And once we've
Mhm.
learned those lessons, the next question becomes how do we anchor them into our day-to-day well-being? When it comes to health and wellness, what do you feel is the most overlooked foundational habit that can transform someone's well-being?
Ooh. I love your questions, by the way.
Mhm.
They're amazing. How did you think of the questions?
Oh, well, we do have a team of very
Oh,
experts.
really?
Yeah, they help us build the questions. Like,
Uh, I love that. I think I could only really speak for me, but I think it applies to humanity.
mm,
Um, and I would say that's gratitude. No matter what situation you find yourself in, if you could find any piece of gratitude, like to be thankful for, um, like for example, your health and wellness, you may be experiencing financial hardships, or you can't pay rent, or which I've all experienced in the past.
mm,
Um, toxic relationships where you feel stuck. Any example you can name in the book, if you can genuinely express a gratitude that you're alive. So like for me, it's like just going back to the basics of like, I was born and now I woke up today. I had a good bed to sleep in. And I think if you can find that gratitude in any moment, whether good or bad, and have a daily gratitude practice,
mm,
it's a good reminder to snap you out of um, that anxiety or whatever's stressing you out, uh, whatever's stressing you out at the
mm.
moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, true. Yes, I also agree with you when you say that gratitude is one of the many things that has a great impact on one's life who's willing to live it in a healthy way. But this makes me wonder, why do you think such a simple habit gets ignored, even though the impact is so significant?
I think it gets ignored because of our material, biological, psychological experience. When you're stressed out, you automatically think more stressful thoughts,
Mm,
opposed to, I just want to be grateful right now. It's like when you're in that state of fight or flight, your
mm,
body's chemical processes, whatever you want to call it, um, naturally gravitate towards negativity.
mm,
So I think most people, as simple as it sounds, be grateful, have a gratitude practice. When you're in that moment, it's harder than it seems, and people just get caught up in the day to day grind of work, pay the bills, um, whatever it is that you're doing in your life. People get caught up and don't even give themselves the time to prioritize taking care of their overall health and well-being. Um, so that's why I think most people may overlook something as simple as gratitude. But a good practice that I suggest people is use that stress as an opportunity to remind yourself to be grateful, instead of going into the default mode of like, I'm stressed out, so all I could think of is stressful thoughts. Use that as the impetus to remind yourself that to be grateful, instead of going down that rabbit hole of stress and what am I going to do, and you know.
Yes, yes. I feel like most of the times negativity takes over positivity, and I would like to suggest for people in those moments to keep their calm and focus on positive things, which I feel like it's easier said than done. I understand that, but
Mm-hmm.
if I could have a word, I would love to encourage all our listeners in the moments of like those. Please try to stay calm and focus on positive things. And it's fascinating
Yeah.
how yes, and it's fascinating how these basics often hold the greatest power. And your perspective challenges us to look at wellness with a bit more humility and consistency. And that
Yeah.
simplicity naturally leads us into another layer. Sometimes it's not about adding habits, but subtracting the ones that weigh us down. Many people think wellness is
Mm-hmm.
about adding more, but more routines, more practices, more rituals. Do you believe growth sometimes requires subtraction instead?
I'd say yeah. I'd say 100%. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is the people who spread themselves too thin, right? It's like you have this checklist of like 100 things that you got to do,
Mm.
and you're only capable of doing so much of that.
Mm.
So you naturally, like, just do like a imagination of like, what if you woke up like tomorrow and you just, everything was taken care of and you just had nothing to do?
Mm.
Like, what, like, where does that get your mind going? Do you feel more stressed out, or less stressed out?
I feel like I would feel more stressed out.
If you had if everything was taken care of and you had nothing to do,
Yeah, I feel like
you
I'm
feel more
doing
stressed?
nothing. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing nothing. What am I doing? Uh,
Really?
yeah, I would
So
feel
that's where the
stressed out.
purpose piece comes in,
Mm.
because when people feel, it's called existential unemployment syndrome,
Mm.
where people who feel like they have, like whether you got laid off or you're currently unemployed, you feel like you lack purpose because your purpose was tied into the work that you're doing. So when you feel like you don't have any work to do, naturally you have less purpose. But I
Mm.
would say your purpose, uh, that's an opportunity to find more of your purpose, because you have nothing to do, because now you can go out and try to do something that you do enjoy doing.
Yes, yes. I feel like unlinking stuff, like unlinking success, unlinking purpose to success, unlinking purpose to monetary, materialistic stuff. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, and
So,
even work. Yeah, even
yes,
work
work.
too. Yeah.
Yes, and it also makes me wonder, what's something you had to let go of that ultimately expanded your health or mindset?
I think every day, um, I've been recently practicing trying to let go of my ego and judgment.
Mm.
So those are the two like main things that I've been like actively trying to let go of. Um, is ego and judgment. Um, because I think when you tie everything to what you do to your ego, what are you without that?
Hmm. True, true.
And the judgment piece is like who am I to judge somebody for being in a different position than me, or even a different belief set, which is very common in today's political conflicting world, like, oh, you have this different belief, so, and I have a better belief, which is like ego and judgment combined, and that just sends you down a toxic rabbit hole, and people forget that we're all humans. We all were raised differently. We all have our own unique perspective. And yeah, for me, letting go of that ego and judgment every day as like an everyday practice helps open my mind to the compassion and love that humanity really yearns for. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what we believe in, if it's different, no matter your religious background, your political views, at the end of the day, we're all humans and we just want to be loved and understood.
Yes.
If you're a human and you don't want to be loved and understood, then I don't know what's going on. But
True. And once we've stripped things back to what truly matters, the next step is understanding how to measure well-being from the inside out. In your work and life, how do you measure authentic well-being beyond the usual metrics like productivity or physical fitness?
the first thing that comes to my mind is why measure. When you're measuring, you're trying to keep up and strive for something. Why measure? I don't see it as measuring. I just see it as like, was I better than I was yesterday? And that's it. I think when you get into the mindset of measuring, whether it be wellness or success, I think you get stuck in this rat race trap of trying to have an expectation that you'll never really reach. I think measurement is a part of an illusion of the mind, I would say.
Yeah, yes, makes sense. And if someone listening feels misaligned in their inner life, what's the first recalibration you would encourage them to make?
If they seem realigned, you said? Or misaligned?
Oh.
If they feel misaligned, you said?
Yeah. No, I said, what's the first recalibration you would encourage them to make? Yes, I mean, feels misaligned in their inner life.
If they feel misaligned, I would highly encourage to take a deep breath, go for a walk, disengage from everything, clear your thoughts, and then come back and reflect on what it really is that you want in life. Ask yourself the question, what do you really want in life? And go from there and start going down, like, what feels right to me and what doesn't feel right. And start letting go of those things that don't feel right, of course, and then start doing more of the things that feel right. And along the way, you may have to set up boundaries, which is a big part of that alignment, because I think who you surround yourself with really affects your life. So if you feel misaligned, maybe at work, maybe set yourself up in a way that you don't have to get a new job, or find something that you feel more aligned with versus not aligned with, right?
Yes. It feels like essentially take a pause to regain the energy to be aware of your surroundings, to be aware what is causing, if there's anything that's causing you trouble, to be able to be aware of what's the root problem, So just take a pause and let the energy of awareness take up your body again, right?
Yeah, I honestly think a lot of people in the world, they just don't give themselves time to reflect. And I think for me, at least, through meditation and studying things that I enjoy studying and learning about, I think most people just don't give themselves that time, and they get stuck in social media, escapism, things like that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Always taking time for calm and introspection, I feel like.
Yeah, just even 5 minutes, like I don't even think most people give themselves 5 minutes to really just um, disengage from their everyday task and to-do list and yeah.
Yes, yes. I feel like we're just living in a self-induced, fast-paced world. So,
Yeah, just slow down. Just
yes. So,
yeah.
Thomas, it was a very wonderful conversation with you.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, it was. And before we wrap our episode, for our listeners who would love to connect with you, can you please tell them ways to do so?
So my main thing is just my podcast, Unwritten Podcast. You can follow me on Spotify and YouTube. It's the main ones I'm promoting right now. Yeah, only follow or subscribe if you listen to an episode and it resonates with you. Don't feel obligated to it. And I hope you have a good day.
Yes, yes. So all the details as to how to connect with Thomas will be in show notes. So I request all our listeners to go and check that. And if only you're interested, please click. And yeah. So thank you for joining this enriching conversation with Thomas Malpass. If something resonated with you today, let it move you towards a choice, a shift, or a new beginning. Your mindset, your growth, and your wellness are crafted one intentional moment at a time. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep choosing the life that feels true to you. Thank you for tuning in. This has been your host, Charu, and you've been listening to Inner Peace, Better Health, where peace is power and overthinking is overrated.